The Your Safe Space podcast is recorded on Wurundjeri land. This podcast acknowledges the traditional owners and custodians of the land. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. Welcome to Your Safe Space, the podcast. I'm your host, Adele Marie, and this podcast is here for you. It is a safe space for us to catch up each week to discuss anything and everything. And on today's show, we have an AMA on air, but it's a guest episode because my sister Karla is in here answering some questions for us. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me again.
Thank you so much for coming back. I'm not sure when this episode will come out. We did record another one. If you want to listen to it, go back and listen to that one. But I thought, while we've got Karla in here, let me take advantage and let me squeeze another episode out of her. And when I put the question box up, you guys asked questions not about van life. Well, one of these is about van life, but you asked other questions that I think I really want to talk about. So we're going to get straight into it. These episodes are our short, sharp, juicy ones, and these questions are very Karla based. So our first question is, Karla, can you please give us starter tips for creating a veggie patch?
So I think the first thing to do maybe is research. There's lots of research out there.
Yeah. Where
So-
do you research?
DuckDuckGo.
Is that what it's called?
No, it's just like a web browser.
Oh,
It's not like a Google thing.
okay.
but not
Okay.
Google.
So yeah, YouTube, Google, whatever
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
search.
I think it depends on. Yeah, I like to research. I like to research about like a plant. I'll just type in the plant
Okay.
and research the things about a plant.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then when it comes to starting a veggie patch, what would be like the next practical step? So you've done your research, and then what would you say?
Have a look in your backyard to see where the position of how much sun's getting there.
Okay, so
So
right
it's like
position.
good position for like, and then like each plant has like a different, like some like shade, some don't. So you can sort of work out
What to
where
plant
you can plant them.
based
Yeah.
on that.
But I think like you just gotta like do it. I feel like dad for Christmas or mum and dad brought me the veggie patch box
Yeah.
thing. And you know, I didn't have any idea like at all, like fully did not know what was happening, and they already had planted like a bunch of stuff in there as well, and I've still got photos actually of like all
Yeah.
the veggie patches and all the seasons, and they change, like, you know, because I learn more things, you know, from the past experiences, and I mean at the end of the I'm still learning, like I'm definitely
Yeah.
no professional, and you can, yeah, there's always room to learn more about like growing, but I think just give it a go, and then like start with something simple like a herb box, you know.
Yes. You can buy those, hey.
Herbs are a little bit boring sometimes too, especially if you're not using them, because then they just get giant beasts, and
Justice
then
for the herbs.
yeah, or
Do
you know,
rosemary,
do things that you
sage.
actually are going to use for
parsley.
starters. But then sometimes, like when you use them, then you use the whole plant. Like mum uses all the parsley,
And we got
And
rid
then
of
we've got
all
to
the
plant
sage.
more and all the sage. But anyways, I've got some seeds. I'll replant anyways.
So she was just saying start small, but you think the best way to learn is to
Yeah, so
actually
just do
start.
it. Like, or like flowers are really fun too, because like you get to see them like,
Blossom.
yeah, and they're pretty, and I feel like they're not that hard. Like go to Bunnings or a market and get a plant.
An
you
easy
know?
plant to
An
start.
easy plant that's already done, and then, you know, later in the track you can get into seeds, you know, which is sort of, you know, I've dabbled in the seeds in the in the seeds,
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
I was just curious. I was like, oh, imagine growing. Yeah, it's cool growing a plant, but like from seed is even cooler, you know.
And from seed is quite hard. So I'm going to
Yep.
say a tip that I would give is go and buy like the little plant. Like an example I'll give you is in our recent patch. We did a winter patch. It's still growing right now. We tried to do carrot seeds and they just did not take. What happened is I think a gust of wind came and blew the
them
carrot
away.
seeds into the grass and into like the bloody other areas of the garden, and we had carrots growing there but not in the patch. And so I went to Bunnings and I bought like the little mini, I don't know what you want to call them, they're
Little
mini plants.
carrots,
And
already
so I
seeded.
planted those and I cheated a little bit, but they're actually taken, and that's a little bit better. And so sometimes you have to cheat a little bit, but that's okay.
Yeah, it doesn't really
But
matter.
I think
at the
it's
end of the
just
day.
like try it. And some other tips I would give you is like you have to maintain the garden. And we realized this on the way here. neither of us had watered the garden and it hasn't rained. And even though it's winter and it's cold, it actually still
Still
needs
needs
to
to be
be
watered.
watered. And like, if you notice weeds, rip them out straight
Yeah,
away.
because then that's taking the nutrients from like the plants.
Same as
And you got to feed the soil too. You can't just chuck it in. And you got to get good soil, really, at the end of the day. There's so many. I seen like this video the other day of a guy, and he like was testing all the soils of like the quality and the cost and the way that the plants grew in them, which I thought was really really cool. And it makes a difference when you buy good stuff or you buy
cheap stuff.
shit stuff. Or you could also if you've got a compost, that's really good too because you can add that. And like we've got our worm farm, so I add a lot
Yeah.
of the worm castings, and I keep all the good stuff going in
Back
into
to
the soil.
back to the
Keep
garden.
it good.
And
Try to keep it good.
I'll give you guys another example of that. Like in our summer patch, we grew sunflowers.
Yeah.
And we actually kept the stalk of the sunflower because that's very like
it's really
nutrient
good. It
dense.
takes
And then we put that into the
the
soil. So the soil was like
takes all the-
nutrient.
yeah.
And so I reckon those tips are pretty good for someone to get started. How many patches are we up to now? You've been doing the veggie patch for ages. So we've had like
Yeah,
a few
at least,
seasons.
like,
Nearly
6
10
yeah,
years, I
almost 10
reckon.
years.
And so we tend to do a summer patch and a winter patch. And so
we try to do the winter patch. Look, it's not like my favorite.
I agree. I actually thought that. We've only had broccolini.
Summer's definitely my favorite.
Summer's better
Yeah,
because
summer is better.
my favorite thing.
But I'm really excited for the garlic this
So am I.
Yeah, I'm very excited for
the garlic looks good.
Yeah,
but
the garlic
will
looks
it be ready when I'm back? Or will it be ready while I'm gone?
probably not even ready when you get
Oh,
back.
perfect.
It
Will
takes, like,
anything
9
else be
months.
ready?
It's like a baby.
Will anything else be ready while I'm back?
Maybe the carrots look like they're like popping out. I don't know.
Okay. Anyway, come and follow along. We do make garden videos on my TikTok. There's some tips in there about soil and stuff if you guys want to go and watch that. Our next question is, can Karla talk about her favorite sustainability tips? And I know that's very broad. So I don't know if you want to give us like one, give us two. I don't know. What would you like to say to that?
I think like an easy thing that everyone can do is like I hope everyone eats vegetables. If you don't, that's also okay. But I hope there's some veggies along the sides of the animal products that people eat.
Okay.
We won't get into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, get a compost bin.
Okay.
Because like I feel like taking scraps out of
Landfill.
is I think really really good because they create
Less waste.
no, it's like a gas.
Oh, look at me,
What is
less
it
waste.
called?
I don't know what it's called, but yeah, I know what happens.
yeah.
So we have a compost and
We've got a worm farm.
we feed it to the worm farm, but we also collect all of like our green scraps and waste in a container, and then once that's full, we put it into the worm farm, and they
love it.
get rid of it. They
Except
eat it.
worms don't eat everything, so I will be we'll use a way. I will be sorting out a compost.
Okay,
bin.
is the worms okay?
The worms are fine.
Okay.
They're beautiful. They're thriving.
Maybe we should give them
Just
a
mum
worm
looked after
tour.
them. Yeah, I'm ready. I love worms. They're so
don't.
good.
They scare me.
They're so good for the garden, guys.
They scare me.
They
All right.
they irrigate the soil for you. It's
Yeah.
so good.
I'm going to give another tip, and I'm cheating, but start a veggie patch. Start a herb garden, because then you're not having to buy it and you're growing your own food.
I mean,
Is that
ideally,
sustainable?
guys, ideally,
Or am I
like you want to
just-
get some like land, and then if you want to like, you want to get some land, and then you want to create like a fruit forest, and
I'm talking about what the
you want to live off the land.
I'm talking about what the average person can do right now to like make a little bit less of a dent. And so one thing that comes to mind is not using a dryer and hanging your clothes to dry. Do you know what I mean? Like little
Yeah, I
things,
think
turning the
get
lights off
solar panels. Are
if it's
good.
feasible.
Recycled water I think is good.
Yeah.
Like your washing stuff.
Other things that I think you do really well, you reuse a lot of
Yeah,
stuff.
I
You are queen.
reuse.
She's queen of
I
reusing.
reuse everything.
God help me if I like finish a jar of something or a container. She's like, I'll take that container. I'll take that jar. The other day I had Franklin's container of food and the lid had cracked, which meant that it wasn't keeping the food fresh. And I was like, Karla, where do I put the lid? And she's like, oh, well, that will go in the recycle bin. And she's like, and what are you doing with the plastic container? And I was like, I don't know. And she's like, I'll keep that. I'll put a plant in it. I was like, okay. She doesn't let anything like really go to waste. And she's taught me everything I know about recycling. I still double check with Karla, but I think I'm a lot better.
I feel like sometimes you like know better than me.
I feel like I'm a lot
"Whoa."
better now.
I love that.
And so I definitely think where you can reuse, do that, and where you can recycle, do that as well. And like
and
where,
compost bin.
where you can reduce.
I feel like compost. I feel like it's so simple to just get a compost bin.
But you can make your own.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I mean, the one that I made at our house was not big enough. That's why I
What do
need
you
to
mean?
remake another one.
Wait, where is it?
No, it's gone now.
Oh.
Because just like it was too small. You weren't using it correctly.
Oh,
And it
far
needs to be.
out.
Anyways, it's
Jeez,
a
she's
small
telling me
space.
off.
So I'm not telling you
I
off.
know, I'm joking.
I'm just saying we need to think because you guys do eat lots of veggies, and the stuff that doesn't go into the worm farm can go into the compost bin, and then we'd be
Okay.
reducing all
All
green
green
waste
waste.
from the landfill. Yeah,
So
and I think
we
that's the
need.
best, easiest thing that people can do is not put their scraps in the landfill
Yeah. Okay. And
because it can go back into the earth, like, and break down. It's good.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. We need to get onto that.
Yeah.
Maybe you can sort that out
No,
while
I'm
we're
definitely
gone.
gonna sort that out. Oh,
All right. And then we are going to go into our third and final question, which is a little bit attached to van life, or a lot attached to van life. It is, what are the pros and cons of van life? And if you guys like this question, go back and listen to our episode because Karla and I just spoke a heap about it and there's lots of good tips in there. But maybe you can give us like your favorite things about it, not so favorite things. Let's start with the not so favorite
favorite things?
things. Yeah. You don't have one?
not really. I feel like
You just appreciated it all because you loved it.
yeah.
I knew you were
I
going to
just
say
like
that.
I could sit there and pick some for other people, but I don't have any personally.
Yeah. See, I think in my mind, well, I obviously didn't go on the trip, but like some of the not so good things is just like maybe it is a bit of safety. Maybe the maintenance or like repairs, if they
Mm.
pop up, that can be a bit of a downside. Maybe even like, I don't know, struggling to find like a shower or a toilet. Maybe that could be a bad thing.
Yeah, but there's like
so many.
yeah, I feel like we
Okay.
didn't really have any issues. I mean, yeah, sometimes I didn't shower for like a couple of days, but that's all right.
No judgment.
Yeah, we're not really technically meant to shower every day, anyways. Let your natural oils absorb in you.
All right. And so, what are some of the pros? All the good stuff.
Yeah, like just being able to get in and to go, I think is the
Freedom.
yeah, freedom. I
Flexibility.
think maybe I wrote something. Hang on.
Karla did take notes because
don't
I
know.
think when I look at us both, we're obviously very similar in many ways, and then we're
Yeah.
also very different in ways. Like Karla is the type that will like have no plan and be so happy with that, whereas I'm like I need a plan.
Yeah,
I
I
need to know
can't
what's
do
going
plan.
on. But at the same time, I love freedom. I love flexibility, and I think I've created it in a different way for my life, but
Mhm.
you've also created it in a different way for your life, and van life definitely gives you that.
Yeah,
And what else did you have on your notes?
the freedom of it, exploring Mother Earth, and like just
Yeah.
being in sort of nature. And I find like I love being outside. So
You do.
I love being outside. I feel like even when I'm at home, I'm still outside.
You
Like,
are?
yeah, and only inside maybe just to sleep.
Sleep and eat.
Sleep.
Sleep
Yeah,
and eat.
that's it. But I
With the
just love it.
nature, what were your favorite parts about the trip? Was it the beaches?
Yeah, I
Or
love.
rainforest?
I am an ocean girl.
Yeah.
Like, love
Surprises
ocean.
me because you're a Virgo.
I
You
love
like, well, yeah,
the
you
forest
of course
too.
she's a
Like,
Virgo.
you know, I love
course
the
she's a
forest
Virgo.
too.
What's your
I've just
moon
thought
and
of it.
rising?
I'm Virgo, Scorpio.
That's where the water
I'm
comes in.
Virgo. Yeah,
Are you double Virgo?
I'm double Virgo.
Of
Virgo
course you
sun,
are.
Virgo moon.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah, but I also I loved I loved walking into like the forest and stuff too. But then there was the leeches, and
Oh my God, can you tell us about the
Yeah, I
leeches?
think I was like
That can be
not
a
really-
con.
Yeah.
And so be mindful of leeches.
Yeah.
Are
I
they
mean,
everywhere?
Like, it was they're everywhere. I didn't
In New
realize.
South Wales or Queensland?
They're like everywhere.
Do
Like,
we
they're
have
even
them
in
here?
Victoria. Yeah.
Ew.
And like it was so funny because Mel, like I wore no shoes practically for the whole time because earth as much as you can, guys.
Yeah.
And we went on like hikes and we went like a lot of the places we went off track because I like going off track better than on the path that they pave you. And Mel would always get leeches. Like
Poor
she
Mel.
got like 3 leeches like at 3 different places. And the whole time like I was like, oh, I was sweet, I was fine. And then when we got to like Coughs, because our friend was staying just out of Coughs, so we went and visited her just before like we made our way back down. And I was like, there she was like staying at a place that was right off the national park. And like it looked like bushy, but it also like looked foresty at the same time. And I was like, oh yeah, like we'll go for a walk, like. And I wore no shoes because I was like, oh, we're going to be going back to Melbourne. I'm not going to be like it's going to be too cold for my little toesies.
Yeah.
I'm going to wear no shoes and
Take
just like have a really
advantage.
good Earth day. Anyways, we were walking and it was like really dry. And then we started getting into the density of it. And I was like, oh, maybe there will be leeches here. And then
Oh.
like maybe like 10 minutes into the walk, I like looked down at my feet and there was about 10 leeches in between my toes,
No.
up my legs. And I was just like, freaking out. Because, I mean, they don't actually hurt you unless, they don't hurt.
But it's just
But they're just
foul.
ugly. They're
It's
just
just
real
foul.
ugly things.
Did it hurt when you took them off?
No, because I was, I just, tried to scrape them off with like a leaf or like a stick.
Oh,
But
I'm so sorry if anyone's listening to this and like freaking out about it.
yeah,
I'm so sorry.
leeches. I mean, they're ugly. Like, I didn't kill any of them, and I
Of
didn't
course you
burn
didn't.
any of them, and I don't put salt on them because it actually irritates them more, and then they're more likely to leave their cute little mouths in you,
Ew.
which creates infection. So you gotta just get them off.
Get
like,
them off. Yeah.
And some like Mel even had one where I found out lots of things about leeches. It was like one of them had two heads. So you would take off one side
mutated.
and the other side would attach, and then you would take that side off, and then the other one. It was really fun.
Jeez. And here I was worried about the crocodiles, but it's actually the
It's
leeches.
the leeches that are
okay.
ugly. Yeah.
Did you see any crocodiles?
Yes, we did see
Where?
crocodiles near the Daintree
Okay.
area.
And where did you see the crocodile?
in the river.
You weren't in the river, you were in a boat.
No, we weren't. On a boat.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I was calling her. I'm like, have you seen crocs? Be careful of crocs. They're in the ocean. They're in the rivers.
Yeah,
they're
are
everywhere.
they are up in the ocean, up in Queensland.
Yeah. That's scary.
But I mean, I think they're really beautiful creatures, and they're like older than dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Really. So I feel like they're really beautiful.
And they're really deadly. And just be careful if you're in the water in Queensland.
Yeah, you obviously just gotta be smart around the water.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't go swimming in the
I wonder, I'm
too
going to
close to
sound
the
so
rivers or
dumb
anything.
saying this, but obviously, like if you go to like the Gold Coast or Brisbane, like that water is still attached.
No.
It's not?
No.
Oh.
I
Now
mean,
it's a geography
it's very unlikely. I think there has been a spotting. I don't like somewhere down there, but it's
Oh.
very unlikely
They scare me.
because they like the warm
yeah.
areas, obviously.
Yeah. And then the last good thing I think about van life, which I'm just going to prompt your memory
Mhm.
because I think this is so you, but I feel like it allows you to live your like minimalist lifestyle because you are
Yes.
very minimalist.
Yes.
You don't, I guess, subscribe to like having things you don't need or
Mhm.
having more. You're very
Yeah.
low waste, try to like not put crap back out into the world. So I
Yes.
think it really does feed into that value of yours. So
Yeah, it's easier
yeah.
because you got like a smaller space.
Yeah.
Even like being in the van and like I still got stuff at mum and dad's that I'm probably just going to get rid of, to be honest, because
Yeah.
I don't want anything.
Yeah, because you know that you don't need it.
Yeah,
you
you
can
don't need
survive
it.
without
Yeah,
it.
literally, yeah. You don't need it.
Yeah. I love that.
The
Well,
less the better.
yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. And
That's
thank you
okay.
for coming on and giving us all the info and all the goss. And I think we can wrap the show here.
Okay, sounds good.
Short and sharp. I'm going to
Yep.
put you in an Uber and send you off to work now.
Thank
But
you.
guys, thank you so much for listening. Karla, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Where
Sissy.
can the people find you? Give us your Instagram.
KL.ZAC.
Yep, and I'm working on getting her on TikTok still, so stay tuned. But if you haven't, please come and join our Facebook group. It's Your Safe Space Podcast Community. Follow us on Instagram, Your Safe Space Pod. Follow me at Adele Marie. Leave us a review on Apple, a rating on Spotify. And if you love Karla, and I'm sure you do because everyone does, put us on your story. Word of mouth helps this podcast more than you know. And I'm so grateful for you coming on. So thank you.
Thank you so much. for having
And
me.
we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.